The night air in Beijing was thick with worry, whispers, and the glow of millions of phone screens refreshing social media feeds every second. What began as another busy night in the Chinese entertainment world quickly turned into an emotional storm that left fans across Asia trembling in disbelief. Actress Tan Songyun, known for her warm smile and steady grace, was seen breaking down in tears after hearing news of Su Kai's sudden accident, a moment so raw that it spread across the internet like wildfire. For millions who have followed their journey, from co-stars to rumored close friends, that single image of Tan Songyun, eyes red and glistening under the dim light of a hospital corridor, became a symbol of heartbreak, humanity, and the unspoken bond that fans have long believed tied the two stars together. Witnesses described the moment vividly. Tan Songyun had arrived at the hospital late in the evening, dressed in a long beige coat and a black cap pulled low over her face. Cameras flashed the second she appeared, but she didn't seem to notice them. She was walking fast, almost running, her hand clutching her phone as if the device itself were the only thing keeping her from falling apart. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy. Su Kai, the ever-charismatic actor who had captivated audiences with his charm and depth, was reportedly rushed into emergency care following a late-night car accident on the outskirts of the city. No official statement had been released yet, but the news had already spread. As Tan Songyun entered the emergency ward, her face told the story before words could. Her body trembled, her eyes brimmed with tears that she tried to fight back, and when someone whispered something to her, perhaps confirming his condition, her knees gave way. In that instant, the cameras caught what no performance could ever replicate: pure, unfiltered emotion. Tan Songyun collapsed into the arms of her assistant, sobbing uncontrollably, her voice cracking as she whispered Su Kai's name over and over again. The photos, though blurred and taken from a respectful distance, hit the internet like a tidal wave. Tan Songyun collapses in tears after Su Kai's accident, read the trending headline within minutes. Hashtags like hashtag Tan Songyun crying, hashtag Su Kai accident, and hashtag We Are With Tan Songyun began dominating social media feeds. Fans flooded comment sections with messages of support and sorrow, their own tears spilling over as they watched the heartbreaking scene unfold. It was as if the world had stopped for a moment, united in collective pain for two people who had given so much joy on screen. What struck everyone most was the sincerity in her grief. This wasn't the polished composure of a celebrity maintaining an image. This was raw, real, human. In the entertainment world, where perfection often masks vulnerability, Tan Songyun's visible anguish reminded everyone that behind the bright lights and glamorous appearances, these stars carry real hearts that break, too. Some fans even said they could almost hear her voice in their heads, that soft, tender tone she always used when speaking of Su Kai during interviews, trembling as she called his name in fear. Their connection had always been a source of fascination. Since working together on a popular drama, their chemistry had been undeniable. The way Su Kai looked at her on set, the laughter they shared during interviews, the small gestures that spoke volumes, everything seemed to hint at a bond that went beyond mere friendship. Though both had always insisted they were just close colleagues, fans lovingly dubbed them the warm couple, admiring the way they supported each other's careers and appeared to share an unspoken understanding. When the accident happened, many fans said they immediately thought of Tan Songyun. She must be devastated, one user wrote on Weibo. You can see in every behind-the-scenes clip how much she cares for him. It's not just friendship, it's something deeper. Others echoed similar sentiments, saying that her reaction was proof of a connection that words could never fully describe. As the hours passed, the hospital entrance became crowded with fans holding flowers, handwritten notes, and candles. The scent of white lilies filled the night as people gathered in silent vigil, waiting for updates. Some were crying openly. Others simply stood in quiet solidarity. Many said they weren't just worried for Su Kai's recovery, they were also heartbroken for Tan Songyun, who had poured so much of herself into the people she loved. She's such a strong person, one fan whispered through tears. But seeing her like this, it breaks something inside you. Inside the hospital, reports said that Tan Songyun refused to leave. She stayed in the hallway outside the ICU, her head bowed, her hands clasped tightly together. Nurses described her as polite but distant, lost in her thoughts, her tears falling silently as she waited for news. When a doctor finally emerged, she jumped up instinctively, eyes wide with hope and fear. No one knows exactly what was said, but witnesses recall her biting her lip hard, nodding repeatedly as if forcing herself to stay calm. She pressed her palms together in silent prayer before sitting back down, covering her face. Meanwhile, online communities were alive with emotion. Artists, colleagues, and fans from all over the world sent their wishes and messages of support. "Stay strong, Soo-kai," wrote one fan. "Tan Songyun, we're crying with you." It was rare to see such a collective outpouring of empathy. The entertainment world is often divided by fandoms and rivalries, but in that moment, everyone stood united. The tears of Tan Songyun seemed to have opened a floodgate in people's hearts. As dawn broke, the first light of morning touched the hospital windows. Tan Songyun was still there. Her assistant brought her a blanket and a cup of water, but she barely touched them. Her eyes were swollen, her makeup gone, but her expression had softened slightly, a glimmer of fragile hope shining through exhaustion. The nurses who passed by couldn't help but feel moved by her quiet strength. Even in her pain, there was grace. Even in her heartbreak, there was beauty. By midday, Soo-kai's condition was reported as stable, though he would need time to recover. The relief that swept through social media was immense. Fans celebrated the news with tearful gratitude, sharing messages of love and hope. But many couldn't forget the image of Tan Songyun crying in that hospital hallway. It lingered, a haunting, powerful reminder of how fragile life can be and how deeply two souls can be connected even without words. When Tan Songyun finally left the hospital later that day, she stopped briefly to thank the fans waiting outside. Her voice was hoarse, her eyes red, but she managed a faint smile. "Thank you for your prayers," she said softly. "He's going to be okay." The crowd erupted in applause and tears, many shouting words of comfort and love. She bowed deeply before getting into the car, her face disappearing behind the tinted glass, but her tears and her strength remained etched in everyone's memory. In the days that followed, Tan Songyun kept a low profile, rarely appearing in public. Still, she made sure to post a quiet message on her social media. "Thank you for the love and prayers. Every day is a gift. Please cherish the people you care about." It was simple, heartfelt, and exactly the kind of message her fans had come to expect from her. Underneath her post, thousands of comments poured in, hearts, words of encouragement, and countless people saying they had cried right alongside her. Soo-kai, upon regaining consciousness days later, reportedly asked about her first. "Is Songyun okay?" he said weakly, according to someone close to the production team. When he learned that she had stayed by his side all night, his eyes filled with tears. Though he couldn't say much yet, he later wrote a short message on his own account. "Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for caring." It wasn't addressed to anyone by name, but everyone knew. Their bond, whatever its true nature, had transcended the boundaries of a simple friendship. It had become something larger, a story of compassion, loyalty, and love that resonated with millions. People who had never met them felt personally invested, as if they too had experienced the fragility of life and the depth of human connection. Even months later, fans still revisit that night in their minds, the image of Tan Songyun's tears, the silent crowds outside the hospital, the whispered prayers that filled the air. For many, it wasn't just about celebrity gossip anymore, it was about empathy. It reminded people that behind the glittering facade of fame, real hearts beat with fear, love, and pain just like everyone else's. Tan Songyun herself eventually spoke briefly about the experience during an interview. Her voice was calm, but her eyes carried memories that words could never fully describe. "That night," she said quietly, I realized how quickly things can change. We take so much for granted. The laughter, the small moments, the people we see every day. But life doesn't wait for us to say all the things we feel. I was scared, but I was also grateful. Because in that fear, I remembered how much people can love. Her words resonated deeply, not only with fans, but with anyone who had ever felt powerless in the face of uncertainty. It wasn't just about her or Sue Kai anymore. It became a story about the human heart, about caring for someone so deeply that their pain becomes your own. Even now, long after Sue Kai has recovered and returned to filming, fans say they still see something different in both of them, a quiet understanding in their eyes, a tenderness that speaks of shared trials and unspoken gratitude. Whenever they appear together, even in promotional photos, that connection glows. It's not loud, not dramatic, but it's real, and that's what makes it so moving. Perhaps that's why the phrase "fans cry with her" became more than just a trending topic. It became a feeling, a collective heartbeat that brought strangers together. Because in Tan Songyun's tears, everyone saw a reflection of their own fears and hopes for love, for safety, for the people they hold dear. And so the story lives on, not as a piece of gossip, but as an emotional moment frozen in time. A night when an actress forgot the cameras, when a friend feared losing someone dear, and when millions of hearts across the world beat as one. Tan Songyun's tears will be remembered, not for the drama or the spectacle, but for their truth. They were the tears of someone who loved, who cared, who showed the world that even in the brightest spotlight, there's room for real emotion. And as the lights fade and the applause quiets, one truth remains clear. Sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't acted at all, they're lived. Weeks passed, yet the echoes of that fateful night still lingered in the hearts of millions. The world had seen Tan Songyun's tears, Sue Kai's recovery, and the profound bond that seemed to blossom quietly between them through pain and healing. What had started as a tragedy had turned into something more, a symbol of resilience, love, and the unspoken poetry that connects two souls fated to meet again. When Sue Kai was finally discharged from the hospital, the first person he met outside was Tan Songyun. Cameras captured the moment in soft flashes, her standing there in a pale blue sweater, clutching a small bouquet of white daisies, and him smiling faintly, thinner but full of warmth. They didn't say much, but the way their eyes met told a story deeper than any script. It wasn't dramatic or rehearsed. It was human, honest, and breathtakingly tender. Fans who had followed their every update were left speechless. "This is the kind of love that doesn't need words," one wrote. "They just feel each other." Another commented, "Tan Songyun's tears turned into strength. Sue Kai's smile is her healing." The fandom that had once cried with her now celebrated with her, their hearts swelling with relief and admiration. Behind the scenes, sources close to both actors said that their friendship had grown stronger than ever. Tan Songyun had reportedly visited Sue Kai often during his rehabilitation, sometimes reading to him from scripts or simply sitting quietly by his side as he rested. He, in turn, found comfort in her calm energy and unwavering care. To the public, their story was unfolding like the most heartfelt romance drama ever written, except this one was real. As Sue Kai slowly returned to work, fans noticed subtle changes in his demeanor. He smiled more softly, spoke more thoughtfully, and when asked about the people who supported him during recovery, he said, "There was someone who reminded me what real strength looks like." The audience didn't need him to name her. Everyone already knew. Tan Songyun, meanwhile, returned to her own projects with quiet grace. Yet, every time she appeared in an interview, fans searched for traces of emotion in her words, and they found them. "Life is fragile," she said in one segment, her voice trembling ever so slightly. "When you almost lose someone important, you realize how precious every ordinary day is." Her message wasn't just about loss. It was about cherishing connections, about love in its purest, most selfless form. In a world where celebrity relationships are often fleeting or dramatized, what drew people to Tan Songyun and Soo Kai wasn't spectacle, but sincerity. Their story became a mirror reflecting the things we all long for: loyalty, care, and the quiet beauty of simply being there for someone when the world seems to fall apart. Social media turned their story into a movement of empathy. Fans began using the hashtag Healing with Tan Songyun, sharing personal stories of loss and recovery, drawing strength from her courage. "I watched her cry that night," one fan wrote, "and it reminded me that it's okay to cry, too. That emotions don't make us weak. They make us real." Others said her resilience helped them through their own challenges. Tan Songyun unknowingly became a beacon of hope. Then, something unexpected happened. Soo Kai made a surprise appearance at one of Tan Songyun's fan meetings. As she was addressing the audience, thanking them for their support, a familiar voice came from the side of the stage. "I should be the one thanking you." The crowd erupted into screams and tears as Soo Kai walked out, carrying a single sunflower. He handed it to her, smiling shyly as she covered her mouth in disbelief. "You've always been my light," he said softly, and the audience's hearts melted into a collective sigh. That moment broke the internet once again. "It's not just chemistry," one fan posted. "It's destiny." Another wrote, "This is why we love them, because they show us that real connection still exists in this world." The two stars didn't confirm or deny anything, but the look they shared on stage spoke louder than any statement ever could. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was emotion, humanity, and storytelling at its finest. Their journey, from heartbreak to healing, became a timeless reminder that even in the glamorous, fast-paced world of fame, true feelings can't be hidden forever. As the days turned into months, Tan Songyun and Soo Kai began working together again, this time in a new project that fans described as a love letter to everything they've been through. The script reportedly explores themes of fate, loss, and rediscovery, art imitating life in the most poignant way. Every behind-the-scenes clip, every stolen glance between them, feels like another chapter in the living story that fans around the world have come to cherish. It's rare to see such authenticity in the entertainment industry. Two people whose connection transcends the boundaries of performance, whose story continues to inspire hope and love. Whether they are just close friends or something more, one thing is certain. Tan Songyun and Soo Kai's bond has become one of the most moving tales in modern Chinese entertainment. And for the millions of fans who cried with her, prayed for him, and rejoiced in their reunion, this is not just a celebrity story. It's a reminder that compassion still matters, that empathy connects us, and that somewhere between fiction and reality lies the truest kind of love, the kind that heals. If you've been touched by this journey, if you believe in love that endures through pain, laughter, and time itself, then you belong with us. Join the K-Romance Central community, the heart of all things passion, destiny, and heartfelt storytelling. Subscribe to K-Romance Central on YouTube for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes features, and emotional stories that celebrate love in every form. Our channel isn't just about dramas, it's about the emotions that live inside them. Every week, we dive deep into the world of Asian romance, the stars, the stories, and the magic that keeps our hearts beating faster. Whether you're here for Tan Songyun and Soo Kai, or just to feel something real again, K-Romance Central is your home. So don't just read the story, be part of it. Click subscribe, tap the notification bell, and join our growing family of dreamers, believers, and hopeless romantics. Together, we'll keep celebrating the power of connection, the kind that makes you laugh, cry, and believe in love all over again. Because just like Tan Songyun and Soo Kai, we know that even in heartbreak, there's beauty. Even in tears, there's truth. And even when the world goes dark, there's always a light waiting to guide us home. Welcome to K-Romance Central, where every heartbeat tells a story.